Hello and welcome to SudoKanard. In a couple of days, the round 8 of the BOPF Sudoku Grand Prix, which is the last round of the year, will begin. This one is organized by people from Serbia, and the main puzzle, I mean the puzzle with the most points, with the highest rating, is called Greater or Sum Sudoku. It's not the first time this variant has appeared on Sudoku Grand Prix. It has appeared once in the past, and it was already in a Serbian round. So the special rule here is that whenever you have such a number between two cells, there's ambiguity. This number can be the sum of those two digits, or it could be just the greater of the two. So for example, this could be 1 here and 5 there. So the greater here is a 5. It could also be a 2 and a 3, for example, in which case the sum is equal to 5. So this is a practice puzzle that I created a few days ago to get acquainted with the variants, and I found a bunch of tricky stuff. And I published this puzzle on Puzzle Expo from Logic Masters India. And if you don't know Puzzle Expo from Logic Masters India, I suggest you take a look. A few people from all over the world have published puzzles there, and it's a lot of fun. And not just Sudoku, you can find Slitherlink, you can find Yajilin, and so on, and quite a bunch of Sudoku as well. So let's dive into it. So where do we begin? Well, there are a few things to note. I will start by this central row, although it's the last part where I put clues when I created the puzzle. Because of this 8, you can see that those clues mean that they are sums. And they are sums provided with a result of 8, and they don't use the 2, so one of them is 1 plus 7, the other one is 3 plus 5. So this is a 1, 3, 5 quadruple. That's the first thing, and this is quite difficult to read, I must say. Now, considering this, and this is a phenomenon that appears as well here and there, whenever you have two identical clues that are in a chain like this, that are connected, you can see that they cannot be both sums. For example, if I try to make them both sums with a 4, then this would have to be a 2 and this would have to be a 2, and that wouldn't work. And the same would be true if you had, say, a 6 in this circle and a 6 in this circle. The same would crash in the same manner. So what I'm saying here is that with those two clues of 7, I will delete this for better readability. So we know that they can't be both sums, so one of them must have 7 as the bigger digit. So we know that one of those 3 cells is a 7, but we also know that on this row, 7 is in one of those 4 cells. So, considering this, 7 must be in one of those 2 cells, and those can't be 7s. And considering the sums here, those can't be 1s. And so that's it. So one of those is a 7, one of those is a 1. And this will be another digit, so less than 7, which means it can only be a 4 or a 6. Actually, those 3 cells here are a 4, 6, 9 triple, and we can see that one of those 2 has to be a 9. Now, this was the first thing to note. One other thing to note, well, I think because of this 8, this has to be a sum. But there are 3 ways of turning this into a sum, so that's certainly not the right place to look at this moment. So let's have a look at this. First, we can see that the highest digit that you can put into those cells is a 6. If 6 somewhere is the maximum, then, well, the maximum is 6. But if one of those dominoes here is a sum, and some of them are necessarily, well, the biggest digit must be a 5. So the biggest digit in here must be a 6. So here we have all 6 digits from 1 to 6, and those 3 are a 7, 8, 9 triple. Something similar is happening here. So we have 6 digits between 1 and 7, but so 8 and 9 must be somewhere in here, but there's a third digit which will have to be determined in due course. Now, something else is that 6 is in none of those cells because the digits here are 5 at maximum, so we must have the 6 somewhere in here. And then we know that only one of them can have a 6. And we also know that there are only 2 ways of making 6 be the sum of 2 digits, which are 1 plus 5 and 2 plus 4. So what is happening here is that 2 of them are sums. One of them is 2 plus 4, the other is, the other is 1 plus 5, which means that the one with the 6 will include the 3, because of 3. So we have somewhere 3, 6, somewhere 2, 4, and somewhere 5, 1. And because we have already stated that in this case the digit itself must appear somewhere, because we can't have a sum here and a sum there, we know that one of them here will be the 5. So we know that one of them will be the 3. The 3 goes with the 6. One of them will be a 5, and a 5 goes with a 1. And none of them will be a 2. So the third digit here will be a 4, going with the 2. So what can be said about all of this is that this is a 3, 5, 4 triple, and this here is a 1, 2, 6 triple. So that's a lot to think about, but this is what can be found. And we know that those digits can't be more than 6. We already have located all those digits, so this is a 1, 6 pair. But we also know that here they can't be more than 5, so this is the 1, this is the 6. And we get a 7, 8, 9 triple in here. Now, this is not 1 plus 6 because 6 is here, so this can't be a sum, that has to be a 7. This can't be 7 plus 1, so this has to be 8. 8. The clue 8 must be the maximum, so this is now 9. And because of those, this is also a 9. And we can remove 9 from those cells. Now what about this? This can be 1 plus 4, or it could be 1 with a 5 as a maximum. Except that 5 doesn't work here, because those 2 digits must be a 4 at maximum, so this is a 4. And now this is less than 4, this is 2 or 3, and that's not a 4, by the way. And we're left here with digits from 2, 3, and 5. Now this 7 tells us that this is not a sum. On the contrary, this has to be a sum. Sum of 2 digits equal to 7, so it won't be 1 plus 6, it won't be 4 plus 3, so they will have to be 2 plus 5. Now this will be a sum with either this or that, and the other digit will be a 6. So it will be, but the 6 won't be here because of this 6, so 6 goes there, and this digit now will be a 1 and a 4. A 1 or a 4, sorry, about the logic. Now this 7 will be either 1 plus 6 or just the 7 as the bigger digit. And it seems to be all for this part at this time, I think. What about this? We can see that if this is 1, this won't be 6, so it won't be the sum, so this has to be a 7. But if this is 1 and this is 7, then there's no option for this cell. So this is finally a 4, with a 2 here and a 5 there. And now this can be 3 for the sum, or 7 for the maximum. And we know that one of them here will have to be 8 or 9. And this is not 9, so this must be from 3, 6, and 8. And the interesting part in here is that this can't be 8, but this can be any digit lower than 8 if this is 8. So that's not very useful, I'm afraid. So let's move on to this column where we are left with placing all odd digits. So what can we see? So those are 2 odd digits summing to 8, so from 1, 3, 5, and 7, but this can't be a 7 because it's part of this queue of 5. So this is from 1, 3, and 5. And it goes with 3, 5, or 7. So what can this be? If this is a sum, then this will have to be even, namely 2 or 4. And if this is 5, then this can be anything actually. But that's not very useful. More useful is the fact that those digits are 4 at maximum. So this doesn't include the 7, and this has to be the sum. And this can't be more than 4. So 1 here is not an option. It would have to go with a 6, which is not a possibility. And this is finally a 3, 5 pair. So now this is a 2 or a 4. And note that if this is 2, then this has to be a 4. And if this is 4, then this can be anything from 1 and 2, knowing that 3 is not available. And those here are 6 at maximum. And we can see that there again, we can't use 7, 8, or 9 in any of those cells. So we get the 7, 8, 9 triple in here. And because of this, that's not an 8. And we can see that on this column, we have a 7, 8, 9 triple. And the 9 will be in one of those 2 cells. So this is actually not a 9, this is a 7. With 8 here, 7 there. And so here we need the 6, but the 6 can't be here in the 5 clues, so that's the 6. And that's not the 6, and that's not the 3, because we must remember that 6 and 3 go together in such an area. And this is the final digit, which can be any digit from 1, 2, and 4. Well, 2 and 2 can complete a sum, and 1, 2, 4 will work with 5 here. Except that 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So I was about to make an exception, but it wouldn't have worked. So now this is a 1, 9 pair, so this is not 9, this is not 1, and this is now not 7. So this is a 3, 5 pair, and this is now 7, this is 1, this is 2, it goes with the 4. And we can start removing some options. So this here looks very much like, how do you call that, a deadly pattern, meaning that what is happening? Does the puzzle have multiple solutions? But no, this will be disambiguated by those digits at some point. So what is happening next? 2 and 4 here, so this is 1. And this now has to be the 4, because 1 plus 2 is not 4. And this has to be a 2. So this, because of this 4, this has to be the 3, and that's the 5. And that's the 5, and that's the 3. 3 goes with the 6, 5 goes with the 1. This 2 is not here, so the seemingly deadly pattern has been disambiguated. So let's do some Sudoku. Here we need 1, 2, and 4. Here we need 6, 7, and 8. This is not 7. Here we need 3, 5, and 9, but 9 won't work on this 8 clue, and actually we can see that no option has a sum of 8. So the bigger digit must be 8, so that's 8, that's 6, that's 7, and now both options 3 and 5 do work. Let's have a look at this 8 clue, and this 7 clue is interesting as well. So this 7 clue, so it's either a sum 7 plus 2 or it includes the 9. Here it's either a sum 3 plus 5 or it includes the 8. This 4 here makes this a 6, that's a 4, and that's a 9. Where do we look next? So here we still need 3, 4, 5, and 6, but there's a 6 here, there's a 4 there. I will pencil mark 3, 5, 6 here, 3, 5, 4 here. It won't be helpful at this point. Actually, we've already used most clues. This one can still serve, I think. So where is the next place of interest? Well, this one here, combined with this one, tell us that this is a 1. 8 and 9 are not here, so in this area, 8 and 9 must be here. And we get an 8-9 pair here. We also see that this digit must have its counterpart in this cell. And looking at this 8-9 pair, here we get 2, 3, and 7. Oops. And the 2 is in there. We see that 4 must appear somewhere in here. Those are from 3, 4, 5, 7. I'm not pencil marking 4 digits. Oh, this 8 is interesting because it removes this option of 8. So this is now a sum, 3 plus 5, or 6 plus 2. This row also needs a 4. I'm not seeing how to get it. So this must be the trickiest part. How to finish this. And an interesting part in here is that the options here are 2 plus 6 and 3 plus 5, but we can see that this is 3 or 5. So the option 3 plus 5 is actually not available. This is 2 plus 6. It makes this a 3, this a 5, this a 2. We can simplify some of this. This is now 7. This is now 3. So that this is 5, this is 3. And here we need 4 and 7. So the rest should be Sudoku. 8, 9, and 3. 3 goes there. This is from 8, 9. And we can see we have 5, 8, 9 triple in here. And this column needs a 6. 6 has to be here. It disambiguates some of that. And this is actually the only disambiguation at this point. But I'm seeing now that this 2 and this column has to be here, and this becomes a 1, and this becomes a 4. Here, this column needs a 1. It can only be here, and it also needs a 4. And this on this row is now 5. Here we need a 7 because of this. 7 goes there, and this is from 8 and 9. We're almost there. This column needs 3, 5, and 9. And we can see that 9 is somewhere in here. So that this is a 2. That's a 3, that's a 2. That's a 3, that's a 4, that's a 7, that's a 4. That's a 7, that's an 8. Here we need 1 and 9. And because of this one, this is the 9. Here we need 3 and 5, but there's a 3 here, so this is 5, 3, 9, 5, 8, 1, and we're left with this final string of disambiguation. And that's it for this puzzle, which is definitely tricky. I think it would have earned the 93 points that lie ahead of us in the upcoming Sudoku Grand Prix. And I really look forward to this round because the menu of 12 puzzles seems very, very interesting, with mostly common variants, the less common being the one I presented to you in here. Oh, and the last thing, I hope you have noticed that the clues form inequality signs, like in greater. I forgot to put a plus sign for the sum. Well, actually, to be honest with you, the visual theme was completely unintended in the first place, or not consciously. Thanks for watching this video. I wish you all the best for Grand Prix, and see you soon on SudoKanard.